the ranks of Waratahs that probably you'd look at as leaders now. And the young gun, Jordan Wilkins, I think he's done really well since he's come up. He's up against a big assignment in Jack Berry that is a more experienced ruckman. But for a young fella and for his size, we watched, 2 weeks ago when we called, that his endeavour around the footy, he'll tap the ball, he'll go for the ball on the ground. He's got 3 or 4 efforts around the contest, which is really promising.
Very, very fit youngster. And that's the voice there of Natasha Medbury. She's joining me in commentary. I'm Shannon Byrne, and our expert today is Dominic McCormack for this 7th versus 8th. And the Palmerston Magpies being really led by their playing coach, Alwyn Davey. And you mentioned Jordan Wilkins. He has done a mountain of rucking. He was playing last season, men's Division 2, went up to 1, and now he's their main ruck.
The best thing that just watching the warm-up here, and I'm glad they're doing it right in front of us, because we did mention 2 weeks ago he was their main ruckman that probably would have been better suited as a chop out. Why he's still learning, and it looks like that Alexander Araccio is playing, so he's down there now. And you look at the size of that guy, and we've called him a couple of times, and he is massive. So him going against Jack Berry is going to be an awesome contest. And with the young fella chopping out, he's going to learn a lot from playing.
Well, let's just quickly touch on the last time that they played back in round 7
they got smashed. The Magpies got smashed.
Right. So we're building up this as a great contest, but Palmerston have had the luxury of a few consistent weeks of their players. But yes, we have to touch on Waratah 17-10, 112 defeated Palmerston Magpies 3-5. 25. So I was
hoping you didn't bring that. That's why I didn't mention. I remember it.
How quick we can forget that despite both teams on towards the bottom of the ladder, that was a 14-goal win.
Yeah, that's quite amazing, isn't it? That's earlier on in the season. Clearly a lot has changed since then. Well, we shall see whether a lot has changed. But I think the Palmerston Magpies team has settled a great deal. We've heard that from the coach already in Alwyn Davey, as we see them just encircling arms around each other at the moment. The captain's been to the middle for the toss in Aaron Lonergan. I expect to see a much better performance today from the Palmerston Magpies. Waratah not as strong, although I do see Justin Bugler coming back into the team, and with big Alexander Ariccio into the team, their ruck is a lot more stable than what it has been. So who knows? I don't think it's going to be a 14-goal result either way this afternoon, but let's see. Time will tell.
And I just want to touch back on Rakawasa if we can. Tash, you mentioned him. Obviously, we've called a couple of the Waratah games as well where they've been on the end of some big losses. But what he has been able to bring from his run and carry is very much, some of the great halfbacks that we've seen at the moment. And that's what you want in a team, that's someone that can be defensively good, but then they've got the run to bring it through.
He also can play tall and he can play small. So he's he's a really good player, and it will be actually exciting to see him and Justin Bugler in the back line together, because Justin Bugler can take the number one, forward, which is, for Magpies, whereas Rakawasa's probably been doing that. So, and Gooch. So to see those three play together in the same back 50 is going to be exciting. And I guess, with Waratahs, they've had a few injuries, few work commitments and stuff, so they haven't had their best team on the park, in one game this season, I don't think. So, A-Bankers is a big out, but hey, they've got a lot of other players that can stand up. So, it's going to be an exciting game, and I don't think it's going to be the scoreboard that we saw last time. And the only reason I remember that so much, it was my cousin's first Premier League game, and the whole family was down here, and we didn't get to cheer very much.
Terrible. Terrible.
Well, it is a very warm afternoon. It's your 2:30 match here in the top end. We say it's warm, but we're round 14, so these guys are used to it now. So we have got a great game coming up, because it is a very desperate Waratah. 3 wins for the season, 10 losses. They sit in 7th up against they sit on the bottom of the ladder at the moment in 8th place, Palmerston, but they did have their first win of the season last week. Can they make it back-to-back and call all the action from the start? With Natasha Medbury with Waratah kicking towards the Michael Long Learning Centre. Palmerston going with the breeze. Looks like a 1 or 2 goal in it towards the airport end.
Thank you, Shannon. Looking forward to this. A few good matchups already. So we've got Racho against Berry. 2 big men, I must say, built as well. Both get up. Probably didn't either ruckman get the advantage there. Berry goes back in, taps it to Emery. Emery with an up and under kick. Doesn't go far. In front is Gakamanku. Yep. Hard one to pronounce, that one. Back into the 50 line for the Magpies here. Waratah's looking good. And here's that man, Rakawasa. Takes it away, kicks it to centre wing. Scoreboard side. Out the front is Marika. Should get there first. Hot on his tail was Simpson. Takes it for the Waratahs. Kicks it forward. They're looking good here, Waratahs. Drop mark close to the boundary. On the 50 for Waratahs and a miss kick. Misses absolutely everything. Come off the side of the boot. So Ravens back in there. Quick hands, and that's a strong tackle by Waratahs. So good contest to start the game here. Ferocious tackling and a lot of pressure. And the ball has held up here on the centre wing for another boundary, for a throw up, sorry.
Good start by both teams here. Waratah in hard, Palmerston the same. Good contest between the big ruckman.
And D'Araccio gets a hand down to it, so Waratah are able to clear it. They get a kick away, and it's just outside the forward 50 on the right. Smith has it. He puts it up to the top of the square, and behind was a player's dropped down to the ground, shot on goal around the body, and the Waratahs have picked up their first goal, and that is going the way of Simpson. Karanua just been able to come out of nothings, kicked it around the body. And what a great snap on goal, because it looks like they were going to get away with it, Palmerston. Great defensive from their full forward in front.
Oh, they did all right there for a moment, Palmerston, and then Henry Caranola, the beautiful step there going straight around Craig Hutchison was just so good. Great calm, great poise, and then on the left boot, snapping truly. Well done, Waratah. First entry inside 50, that was clean. Goal on the board. And
you're right about his balance and his poise and to get that goal, Kiranua. So back in the middle, very Aracho wins the tap convincingly down, but to Emery. Emery can't pick it up. Davey, that's Davey Jr. Kicks it over to Mishai Perry Jr. This is his cousin. Kicks it into the 50. Looking for Keaton Holtz. Tubbs doesn't take the mark. Here's Russie Davey off the left. Jeezy had good vision there. Was kicking it out to a player. Didn't make it. And there's a free kick.
Front on contact, Tash.
So Bruce Burnett. So young fella. Should go back. I've watched him kick at training and he's got a good kick on him, the young fella. But that was clever play by Russell Davey. He saw his teammate out the corner of his eye and kicked it out there. And as I praise him up, he kicks it to the person on the mark. So Waratah's here to clean up. That's Zobel. Zobel gets tackled well. The numbers here for Waratah's a quick kick and it goes over the boundary line. The boundary umpire is going to throw it in. I thought he might have been done for deliberate then, but probably gave him benefit of the doubt.
Well, Burnett with an opportunity there to have his crack on goal. No one really went to him and talked to him to settle him down, unfortunately, and he just got too close to the man on the mark.
Throw in 60 metres around from the left for the Palmerston Magpies. Berry wins it at the front, down on the ground. 10 players around the ball, and it has been kicked off out of the ground. Russell Davey trying to pick it up, and it just fumbles out of his hands over the boundary. There'll be a throw-in 50 metres around from the left post in favour of Palmerston.
Wouldn't have been happy with that, Russie Davey. It's in the clear. Boundary throw on both ruckmen. Berry wins it down for the Magpies. Made front position. Scramble for the footy. Hot footy here. Good contest by both teams. Kicked out of the pack by Simpson. It's down to centre wing. High tackle. The umpire says no. Needs to get it out here. And the umpire says, give it to me. It's going to be a ball up.
Very fortunate there.
Yes, I thought he was fortunate.
Sat on it, and it was very lucky.
So ball up right underneath the scoreboard on the outer wing. Huge thump from Perry.
Free kick given, Shannon, free kick.
Going to get a free kick out of that.
It's going to come back, I think, there to Berry.
To Berry.
What a convincing win, though, in the ruck contest. That was, he bashed it 30 metres.
While it was even being held on to, apparently.
That would have been the advantage, I think.
Didn't seem to hinder him enough. It went about 10 metres. He gets a quick handball off. Now Palmerston go inside their forward 50 in the left pocket over the top of Holt Tubbs, and it's going to be mopped up by Zobel for Waratah. Huge handball out, and they're going to come out to the commentary side. Kim Cantilla, cool as you like. He takes a mark, chips it over, and finds a running player. There's a kind bounce there for Stevens. He whirls away in, back in board, just gone over the head of Cantilla, and diving on it was Graham. He gets handballs out to Cantilla. He's been busy in this passage of play. Ducks through one, ducks through two, puts a ball down on the ground and gets a beautiful kick forward, and it goes to Shaper. Shaper gets a ball off. The ball's bouncing. Karanua's out in front, left forward pocket. Will he get the bounce? Puts a boot to it, but it just goes through for a behind. And that was a great passage of play led by Cantilla down on this wing. And it is now Waratah 7-0, and there is 5 minutes gone in the opening term.
A little bit casual there, Henry Karanua. Should have burst onto that a bit quicker. He thought it was going to sit for him easily.
Yeah, Timms was hot on his hammer as well. As the Magpies come out of the 50, Chester takes the mark. Along the boundary line here, the grandstand side, kicks it up the centre wing. Lonergan, the captain at the back, picked up by Davey Jr., tries to hand pass over the top to his cousin. Imperi Jr. gets it back, does Davey Jr. Gets it to Lonergan. Lonergan with a chip kick over the top to Nichols. Geez, that barely went the 15. That was a lucky. Don't buy real estate off that guy. Jeez. Right in front of our commentary box. Squares the footy to Alex Johnson. He's back in the black and white, which is good to see. Kicks it out to his coach, Alan Davey, senior, and it's chopped off, well read by Henry Karanua. Just a poor lazy kick there by the coach.
And a 50-metre penalty here as well.
Bruce Burnett just ran directly over the mark there, just a little bit too eager, too enthusiastic, needs to watch what's going on here.
Oh. Bad marking from Palmerston as well, because Karanua's just run to the top of the centre square, and he has found a free player over in the right pocket. He's got time to do his socks, and in the right forward pocket, Waratah are going to try and get 2 goals in a row, and this is coming off the courtesy of Palmerston, giving away a 50-metre, but more importantly, Karanua was quick down the ground, and Zobel with a shot on goal, and he has kicked it 40 metres out, slight angle on the right, and Waratah have picked up their second goal, 2-1-13, 7 minutes gone, Palmerston yet to score.
Well, that was a terrific kick, wasn't it? Unfortunately, from a Palmerston perspective, they gave away the easiest 50-metre penalty and brought them up inside 50. And then Zobel, what a great kick that was too. That was a pretty difficult kick against the wind at this time of the afternoon, and he just dealt with that beautifully. Straight through the middle, wonderful kick. Good to see his teammates go and congratulate him. Waratah, handy lead already, 13 points. Palmerston yet to score and yet to really get any clean entry inside their 50.
And he ran a long way to make that option down in the 50, didn't he? So he's playing the back 50. It's back in the middle. Wilkins is on now in the ruck for Waratahs, but Berry rings it down. A free kick for a high. It's going the way of the Magpies. No advantage there. It needs to be brought back. Good call by the umpire. So to Emery, the centre square, looks out wide to Davey Jr., who plays on. Kicks it to the top of the 50, or about 60 metres out to the big ruckman, and Jack Berry started the game well, presents well, just puts it up high looking for Holtz Tubbs from the back. He gets a hand to it, comes down. Umpire says play on to Izzy Frank. Izzy Frank lines him up and hits the post from about 40 out, one step, and the first score on the board for the Magpies.
Well done, Palmerston. Still a little bit scrappy inside their forward 50. Great kick from Ezekiel Frank, and could very well have been their first goal.
Brought back in for Waratahs. Piercing kick straight down the middle. It's gone over the intended target, and that was Booth, but Booth tried to come back in. Numbers still with the red and white. That's been dropped by Karanua, missed by the umpire. Play on, and there is still about 10 players running after the ball. It's been patted forward. It's in favour of the Palmerston Magpies. Scrambling down on it, picked up now by Waratah O'Connor. Might have just got a boot to it. Back in the goal square. Holt Tubb whirls around, and it's gone to the right. Wow, that was scrappy. From the kick out to the shot on goal, he had a lot more time, Holt Tubbs, than he thought.
And teammates as well around that he could have dished that off to. So quick kick out by Waratahs. It's a booming kick as well. It's made 60. Under pressure there, drops a footy. Umpires called it this time. Good tackle by Alwyn Davey, senior, that is.
Yes, you've got to make the distinction this afternoon.
He's kicked it long. He's looking for his twin. At the back is Keaton Holtz Tubbs. His twin, Rusty, was all on his own there. He just couldn't get the leg there. And off the ground, Waratah's kick it out of bounds on the full. So it's going to be a free kick taken by the Magpies right on the 50 along the boundary in front of the St Mary's clubhouse.
Well, just in the last few moments now, Palmerston really starting to push through with a bit of pressure. Some good pressure, bringing their numbers forward. You can see their defence has moved right up to the centre line. They're trying to keep this ball trapped in. Let's see whether they can get a score, a goal score on the board. 2 points, plays 13. Palmerston with an opportunity here.
So Philo, this is Matthew Philo. Plays on, kicks it from 55, looking for Izzy Frank. Izzy Frank can't get hands to it. At the back is Jack Berry, the ruckman. Rika goes without it. Kicked off the ground. Nearly gets it through there, does Freeman. So just misses to the near side. So another behind to the Magpies.
Been in the action early, Thomas Freeman. Had a couple of good touches. That one there he would have liked a lot better, of course. Yet to score their first goal.
So Gooch for Waratah with the kick-in duties. A lot of players going to the outer side. That's the direction that he goes for. It's a whopping kick. Goes over the head of his ruckman, 60 metres away, Wilkins. Still have the numbers, Waratah. Short kick finds Karanua on the defensive side of the outer wing. He goes down through the middle, picks out a player in Graham. Graham gets a handball, gets it back to Graham. Graham goes up to centre half forward and in a great mark at the back. And it is Smith directly in front. 35 metres out will be where he takes it, and that was a great contested mark.
Terrific stuff from Smith, and then just that quick transition from Waratah. This is what Palmerston have not been able to do yet. Forward line, nice and open, quick transition, mark taken, now the shot on goal.
So Smith, first shot off 2 steps, if you don't like. He had the distance, but didn't have the accuracy, and it's gone to the right of the post. Didn't look too convincing in the
I'm sitting here shaking my head. He was very casual there. The 2 steps, he leant back, and the ball went exactly where it was always going to go. Crooked.
Too casual, that one. Nichols kicks it out to the pocket, left pocket to Chester. The Maggies here, just a up and under kick looking for the ruckman. At the back was a flyer. And that was Shadforth. Couldn't get the ball carried all the way. Johnson strong, gives it to Freeman. Freeman gets coat hanger, the good old coat hanger. So the free kick's going to come back and 50. So the Waratah's player.
That was Graham.
That's very undisciplined from Waratah.
He really plays on as you can. So, and probably not the best idea there. But if you take the 50, you can play on before the mark is placed by the umpire, but probably just rushed it too much there, and the ball's gone out of bounds, and there's going to be a boundary throw on about 50 metres around from the Magpies goal, grandstand side.
Well, almost a quick entry there for Palmerston. Probably the wrong option by Thomas Freeman. They're getting their hands on the ball, and Maggies just need to use it a bit better.
Rakawasa up in the ruck, and for Palmerston up in the ruck, it was Frank. Now it's just outside the defensive 50, and the free kick going towards Palmerston. Rakawasa on the mark. Emery just sends it to the top of the square. At the back, a drop mark he should have taken was Hutchinson. Now in the left forward pocket, Hutchinson is running after it, asking for a free kick. Was it deliberate over the boundary? The umpire says no. But Hutchinson at the back, probably a mark he should have taken. And there's going to be a ball thrown in 10 metres around from the left forward post of Palmerston.
So Izzy Frank against Racho. Waratahs win it down. Taken off the pack by Philo on the left and goes out of bounds on the full. Was trying to break a tackle as he kicked it under a lot of pressure. No Shepherd put on there by his teammates. So the free kick to Waratahs. Deep in the back pocket.
Well, that looked magnificent until he put boot to ball. In the front and centre was brilliant. Grabbed the footy, had the shot out of bounds on the full. Palmerston getting their hands on the footy, just not using it well.
So the booming left foot of Gooch goes out the outer wing again, out near where the flags are fluttering in the breeze. It's a 1 to 2 goal advantage for Palmerston. A pack of players see it fisted over the boundary, and it's going to be the ball tossed back in. Maruccio for Tars up against Berry. Goes over the back of both of them. Maruccio gets a hand to it. Ball down on the ground. Maruccio picks it up, just boots it forward. Long ball down the outer wing. Karanua slips over. And it is now Palmerston that have picked it up. They had the numbers, Waratah. It's going over the head. Backtracking was
hand pass.
Berry. He got the quick handball off. Now it's gone over the head of the player in Frank, who was leading. So radar's a little bit off with Palmerston in their forward line at the moment.
Yeah, I hope this doesn't become a theme, but some of the decision-making here for Palmerston just not quite right. Ezekiel Frank had metres on his opponent, then needed to receive the pass, took the shot instead.
So Frank in the ruck, trying to outbody his opponent, puts on a good tackle as a second effort.
Started on his knees with that tackle too and did very well, Ezekiel Frank.
I reckon he was still seething from the delivery that he didn't get earlier. So Racho wins it, comes it down. Magpie play under enormous pressure. The umpire says, give it to me. So that was Aaron Lonergan, the captain. So 15 metres out from goal, ball up. Go at it again. Racho wins it down.
Gone.
Waratah's players under enormous pressure. Follows, trying to pick it up. Handballs it out to Freeman. Freeman had his head taken off again. In the back, I thought that was Lonergan tries to kick it from off the ground. Couldn't. Taken away here by the Waratahs player Arundel. This is a risky kick, but look at Gooch go. Geez, he's got some pace on him. Is he going to get there? No, he doesn't. Lays the tackle and takes a Magpie player over the boundary line. Good speed there shown by Gooch, and there's going to be another boundary throw-in, 55 around from the Magpies' goal. So putting on the pressure here, both teams on each other.
Exactly right, Tash. Pressure's on here. Magpies have again set up well to trap it in. Got to make the most of it when they get their hands on the footy.
Right on the paint of 50 on the outer side. Aruccio was at the back, and he has given away another infringement in the rucking contest against Berry. So Berry will have it. He's going to be 60 metres out, puts it to the top of the square, looking for Frank. Rakawasa was in front.
Oh, that's a good mark.
And a beautiful mark taken by Rakawasa, bravely in front of about 5 players, including Frank, who was about to go for a huge mark. And the man we spoke about early on. Now it's Waratah coming down the commentary wing. Zobel has it. He backtracks. And there is a couple of players, a 1-2 to Zobel. He now looks forward, finds Rakawasa right in the middle of Marara Oval number 1. He goes back, has the run of Gardner. Gardner at the top of the centre square. He goes short over the top of the... Oh, and a juggling mark in front. I don't think he was the intended target, but Smith has taken a juggling mark 45 metres out, slightly to the left.
He can kick a footy, this fellow. We have seen him play before, and he can kick a footy well. His last example was not his best. Let's see what he can do on this occasion.
He's gone back a bit further this time and taking his time. So, and he's got brilliant hands and presents well as well.
So he comes around on the arch, still off 2 steps, a booming right foot. Off the 2 steps, not going to go the distance. Still not out of trouble for the Palmerston Magpie defenders. Handball to the top of the square and dribble down on the ground. And that is a goal for Waratah. And it is the player of Carroll that's booted, their 3rd goal for the afternoon. And, well, you're wrong there, Dom, because Smith still took 2 steps and it wasn't a very accurate
in
kick.
those 2 steps, he managed to step one way, then the other, then put boot to ball, kick long inaccurately. Very fortunate again, Tars. But, look, they've had probably about 7 or 8 entries. They've had 5 scoring shots and kicked 3 goals too. Palmerston have been camped down the other end for the last few minutes and have managed to put 1 point on the board. That is the tale at the moment. Waratah are getting it in nice and quick, and when they do, there's either somebody there to mark it or there's somebody at the fall of the ball. Palmerston have got to use the ball better.
Back in the middle, Berry wins it down, but only as far as Waratah's player running past in Collis. It's a good tackle put on. Good follow-up tackle by Shadforth, I think it is. Chips it over the top, Berry. Berry drops a mark he should have taken, trying to dish it out now. Good pick up by Russie Davey. Russie Davey off to his nephew, Mishai Perry Jr. Aaron Lonergan in front, and it's fumbled over the boundary line, 30 metres around from the Magpies' goal, the right-hand side, for a boundary throw-in. So just the pressure put on. Russie Davies on the ball. He's told his twin brother, put me on the ball. Impact player, we call him.
Well, he's doing well
bursts.
so far. He's had very short bursts.
So it's Waratah 20 leading Palmerston 3 points. 19 minutes gone. Aruccio for Waratahs in front of Berry. There's a ball dribbling forward, picked up by Carroll. He whirls around and it's going to be kicked out on the full, directly in front of the air-conditioned box for Palmerston. So Alwyn Davey Jr., number 2 on his back. He just handballs it off to Emery. Emery with a thumping kick sends it to the top of the square. Numbers with Palmerston, and it's gone over the back of Frank. Was way over the head of Frank, so he's having a tough day at full forward.
Numbers was the answer there for Tars. I think just had more numbers at the footy, and Waratah are getting in front more often than what Palmerston are in their forward 50. Have to get in front, have to get numbers at the footy.
So Frank against Waratah. Waratah wins front position, gets it down. A lot of players around the footy. You see Davey went without it, and the umpires found a free kick. It's going the way of Philo, is that? Let's wait for him to turn around. No, it's Alex Johnson. So Alex Johnson has a shot on goal directly in front, about 20 metres out. Looking to put the Magpies first on the board.
He'll hate me mentioning this, but Rory O'Brien took a shot from here 2 weeks ago to draw a game for Southern Districts and missed to the left. Let's see what Alex Johnson can do.
It's breezy.
Come on, Johnson. Comes in. And it's off the side of the boot and goes nearly out of bounds on the full. So the mocker was definitely put on him.
They call it the commentator's curse.
And it definitely was. So another behind to Palmerston Magpies, trailing by 16 points.
Gooch kicks it in. Rakawasa with a couple of handballs now. It's out on the outer wing in the hands of Millcook. Millcook takes one bounce, takes 2 if you don't mind, kicks it up to the top of the square, gone over the head of Smith and falls in the lap of Carroll. That has just been quick passage from Waratah that we have seen time after time.
There it is again, just on the move, Waratah. Time, space, great run from Mincook out on the scoreboard wing, and then Brodie Carroll to line up after the ball simply fell into his lap.
So he's going for his second, comes in 15 metres out, left foot straight through the big sticks, and that is second for the day. It's Waratah's 4th, and they are 4-2-26, leading Palmerston 4 points, and the siren is not too far away to end this first quarter.
We see this run down centre wing, just beautiful play. Mincook on the end of it, has a bounce, has 2, good pace, sizes up his options, picks the right one. He kicks long, there's multiple targets there. Palmerston players are not man on man. Lines up for a goal, crucial time too. 4 goals kicked for this quarter as we hear the quarter time siren sound.
So it was Waratah who have kept Palmerston goalless in this first quarter. A lot of the players in their areas all just gathering together.
We're here for when the heavens open and the winds howl. We're here for when the water just won't stop. We're here for the wet and we're here for the dry. We're here because we know there's nowhere else you'd rather be.
And there's nowhere else we'd rather be either. TIO Home Insurance. We're for Territorians.
So we can feel wherever you feel together, real together. No one can stop. No one can stop. Nothing could ever bring me down.
Mother Nature can be frighteningly predictable in the Territory this time of year. Heavy rains and damaging winds can cause significant problems and disruption, particularly if you're unprepared, while downed power lines and flash flooding can be lethal. To ensure you're ready, visit powerwater.com.au/safety or text SAFETY to 0428 323 991 for more information. Because staying safe and ready around Mother Nature should be second nature.
CFS Schoolwear is the perfect choice for quality custom-made school uniforms. Ideal clothing for all school-related activities, whether it's 50 or 500 students, we have what you need. Contact the Cricket and Football Shop NT for your free CFS Schoolwear quote today.
Let's see. Roma, Verona?
Perhaps Barcelona.
Make your dream holiday a reality. Book your next getaway at Flight Centre with interest-free holidays and flexible repayment options.
Best in the air.
And everywhere.
Flight Centre.
Intersport, new concept store now open in Casuarina Square. Come in and check out a world-class shopping experience.
Dedicated sports zones.
Now stocking only the biggest brands in tennis, cricket, fitness from treadmills to benches, boxing, swimming, darts, pool and table tennis. For awesome service and advice, still locally owned and operated, the all-new Intersport concept store.
Now open at Casuarina Square.
Boys, we've got a real big problem. It belongs to you, it belongs to me, it belongs to everybody. I'm talking about family violence. It's time we said no more to family violence, isn't it? Yeah. Think about it.
We've all got to say no more to family violence.
No more!
Family violence is a community problem and it needs a community response from all of us, and sport is a big part of that. But we can all do our bit by being more respectful to each other. Please make this year the year we say no more to family violence.
You are one of almost 140,000 people living in an area at risk of being affected by a cyclone this wet season. In your cyclone kit, you will need a battery-operated radio and torch with spare batteries, enough food and at least 10 litres of water per person to sustain you and your family for 72 hours or more. Remember, all important documentation such as passports, photos and insurance policies should be kept in a safe and waterproof place. Be prepared this wet season. Brought to you by TIO.
Go back and hit a target. Keep possession of the footy, because if you've got possession of the footy, you're not chasing people.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing when you're the full forward and you've got a couple of great leads and space, as you mentioned, about the space given to each other, and some of the kicks are just hope and pray.
It's okay if it goes over the top of your head and through the big sticks. You don't mind as a forward, you can't complain, but if it's a poor kick and it goes out of bounds and you definitely were the target, then yeah, it is a poor decision.
And they're two good forwards too. Keaton Holt-Tubbs can take a grab, can kick a goal, and then Ezekiel Frank, very mobile, quite quick, can take a grab. And yet, as you say, neither of them had to have any impact at all in that first quarter. And you'd think that's quite strange given the amount of possession that Palmerston have had, the number of times they've been able to kick it in there, but they just don't look to have been organised. From a credit perspective, Waratah have obviously been able to read that well, and I think we've called it a couple of times. They seem to have had more numbers in defence. The ball gets to the ground, Tars are there. They're there in numbers. They're there working hard.
You look at their goal kickers. So Brodie Carroll has 2, Bailey Zobel has 1, and Henry Kilnur has 1. And they're actually playing across centre-half back and running into the 50. So, you know, it's not like they're their full forwards that's getting their goals. They're just running and carrying. And then the turnovers, their decision-making and the speed in which they're turning over the footy is leaving the Magpie defenders for dead, really.
Well, Carroll's the only multiple goal kicker for both sides. One of them just literally fell in his lap as it went over the head of Smith. So you mentioned the target of Frank and Holt-Tubbs for Palmerston, and the radar's a bit off getting it to them. Well, it's completely the opposite, especially in transition from defence to attack for Waratah, because the two of them around the top of the square are just reading each other very, very well. So quickly, goal kickers. Carroll has 2, Zobel has 1, Kerenua has 1 for Waratah, and there are no main goal kickers for Palmerston. As the board is held aloft to get the second quarter underway, here's Natasha Medbury.
Taracho and Berry back at it. Either ruckman to the advantage. It's still in the middle. Good tackle put on by Philo. The ball's not getting out. The umpire's going to ball it up. Advantage to Waratahs by about 2 metres. The ruckman will go at it again. Timms has been put on the ball for the Magpies. Racho with a clever tap down to his teammate. Tried to chop out there. Davey goes without it. Picked up by Lonigan for the Magpies. It was Barnett. Chadford ducks through one. Tim's just hand passes to no one. The big ruckman was there for Waratahs, picked up by Shadford to Russell Davey. Can run in here, Russell Davey, and get the first for the Magpies. Puts it to the top of the square and goes over the top of his forward in Izzy Frank, what we were speaking about. Probably in two minds there, Russie Davey. Do I have a shot on goal or do I kick it to the top of the square? Probably should have had a shot on goal.
Yep, he didn't need to take the bounce then. He had to make the decision and kick quickly. Once he took the bounce, he burnt both his forwards. They didn't have the time and space then to receive the footy. He had to then have the shot on goal. Neither thing happened.
So Emery in the ruck for Palmerston now, up against Aruccio, so he has a slight height advantage. It's a very narrow throw in. Aruccio in front. He just taps it down to O'Connor, who was absolutely crunched.
And has got a free kick too for the high tackle.
Left back pocket. Lonigan just gets off his back like a koala. So sorry, that was actually Graham underneath.
Gee, I thought that was, I thought he signalled definitely a high tackle then.
So quick ball up in the right forward pocket for Palmerston. Aruccio gets a hand to it. Emery is the ruck for Palmerston, who actually picked it up off the ground. Whirling out of traffic was Connor. He went around the body. It was a hurried kick, and it's only dribbled a couple of metres to their advantage for Waratah. So still left back pocket. Throw in about 40 metres out from the left goalpost.
Kyle Emery has taken his position as a key forward too in the Palmerston Magpies forward 50.
Yeah, they need a target up there. So he's in the ruck again, and he's just going to let Aruccio smash it, which he did. He's gained 20 metres, and then Emery follows it up, takes possession of the footy, but has 4 Waratahs players around him before a Magpies player even gets there. So another ball up. Throws it up. Good body work by Berry. Didn't allow Aruccio to jump, but there's a free kick.
It's going to go to Berry as well.
It is going to Berry. I think that's the third free kick.
Easily.
Aruccio.
In fact, it hasn't gone to Berry. It's gone to Tim's.
Oh, that's a...
Must have been off the footy.
Yeah, Tim's has kicked it in, looking for Emery at the back as Lonergan hits the pack hard as he does. Close to the boundary line here. Zobel keeps it in, under pressure from Davey Jr. Still close to the boundary. Good hands by Gooch. Picked up again by O'Connor. Connor kicks it up the line, close to the boundary. Drop mark by the Waratahs player in Booth, but the umpire says throw it in, it's gone out of bounds. So just forward to centre wing for the Magpies here.
Both teams really working hard here. Waratah forward 50, very open. Smith down there.
Aruccio for Tar up against Berry. Aruccio is going to give another infringement away in the ruck.
Now that's 3 in a row to Jack Berry.
That certainly is. So Aruccio with his arms out, pleading what he's done wrong. Berry goes back.
And 50, he's given it. The umpire's not messing around this afternoon. That's gone for the chat straight away. So Jack Berry inside 50. Natasha, what is he like as a shot at goal? Because he has a real opportunity at the 3-minute mark.
He's usually a clean kicker, the footy. For a big man, he can hit a target. As for the actually getting it between the big sticks.
No comment.
No
commentator's curse here.
Well, the naughty one, Aruccio, has been sent to the goal square in case it drops short. From 45 metres directly to the front of goal, straight over the umpire's hat. He liked it as soon as he struck it as well. The right arm went up in a fist, and the ruckman for Palmerston showing the rest of the players how it's done. From 45 metres out, Palmerston get their first goal of the afternoon, but it's still Waratah 4-2-26, leading Palmerston 1-4-10. 4 minutes gone, second quarter.
Well, Jack Berry, a big man, and he is playing a big game at the moment, dominant in the ruck, causing Aruccio some frustration, to say the least, and giving away that 50-metre penalty. Costs Tars the first goal for Palmerston for the afternoon. Well done, Jack Berry. Now his teammates around him have got to understand that he is actually winning these contests, and he's on top of Aruccio. What advantage can they gain now from that?
And here they are back in the middle together. The umpire throws it up. Both go at the footy. No one wins the advantage. A quick hand pass over to Shaper. Shaper with just a chip little kick. Geez, that was about 10 metres back to Shaper. Shaper drops the footy at the 50. Nearly got himself a free kick. Play on, says the umpire. Graham has it. He loses possession. Through the middle is Shadford. Shadford takes on a play. He's dropped the footy. The umpire says play on. Geez, there was no legal disposal there to Kiranua. Kiranua off the left. It dropped short in the square. Alex Johnson goes through, needs to get rid of it. Now he does. Didn't get the hand pass, and it's holding the ball. Geez, he had the opportunity to get rid of it early. So Mincook with the free kick.
He tried to go crashing through there, and as you say, Natasha, he had one opportunity, chose not to get rid of the footy, had another crack, and Mincook has nailed him. So very unfortunate for the Palmerston Magpies that he couldn't get through there. Well done to Mincook for nailing the tackle.
He did against a bigger opponent as well. Alex Johnson is a very solid. So Mincook, we're behind him here, and he's missed to the far side. So it didn't look good off the boot. Took his time. Fortunately, it's through for a behind, so Waratah's leading 27, Magpies on 10.
Marika for Palmerston with the kicking duties. He kicks out, was looking for Brock, and there is a contested...
It's Bugler as well. That's the first time I think we've seen him.
Yeah.
Justin Bugler, there he is with the number 29 on the back.
So he spoiled the party for Brock. The ball's come out. It'll be tossed back in, 55 metres out from Palmerston's right post. It's one down for the Waratah side. It's kicked down and a good mark. Just kept it inside. And that was Nichols. Nichols with a quick mark looking for Timms. Cut off now from Waratah. So probably not the best option. A handball over from Arundel. Comes into the middle with the run of Rakawasa. He puts it onto the non-preferred left and up and under. Kind bounce, not towards Zobel. Picked up by Alwyn Davey Jr. He just kicked it hurriedly forward. Probably not the best option because there was no Palmerston player. But he got back quickly and put pressure under Zobel. And he's kicked it hurriedly again, Davey Jr. And he's kicked it out of bounds on the full.
Yeah, just put enormous pressure on himself there. Did
two kicks that he had plenty of time and better decision making, but now we're back in the middle for Rakawasa for Waratah. Puts it inside the forward 50, bounces over the head of Smith. Now it comes down, picked up by Waratah still. Great tackle laid by Murden for Palmerston. In the hands of a Palmerston player. Murden has it, looks for a kick, hurried kick out. And great use of the body, but Frank just dropped a mark he should have taken. This is ferocious stuff down on the ground from Rakawasa. Gets a handball out to Collis. His kick is smothered. Now in the middle of the square. Rakawasa comes out to the outer wing. Hurried handball that's not going to any real advantage. Gardner tried to crash through. He's run into a player who's down on the ground.
Yeah, Frank's run into his own player, I think.
Friendly fire there.
Yeah.
Well, Freeman is down.
Freeman.
And also Gardner for Waratah gets up. Freeman doesn't look too well. Just keep an eye on him. Handball quickly off to Carroll. Carroll puts it to the top of the square, and Palmerston have all the numbers. And we'll keep an eye on Freeman, who's just here in the hands of 3 trainers at the moment, Tash.
Hutchinson has the footy for the Magpies. Sit forward, good spoil there by the players, but Waratah's had the numbers here. Over the footy was Alwyn Davey Senior. Rakawasa picks it up. Hand passes back to Simpson. They're going backwards here, Tars. Now they're going forward. Rakawasa dances around one. Now gets it onto the right. It was a quick kick. Sandy Brock should get there first. Well done to Henry Karanua. And Justin Bugler took it away from Karanua, and Karanua's letting him know all about it as well. I reckon Karanua had right away there to take that footy.
So he should too. Bugler should have passed that off to Karanua at the worst and put on a shepherd. Instead, he went for the Hail Mary, as they say, and the out of bounds on the full was the just reward. And well might Henry Karanua look back to him and say, hey, hang on, you should be leaving that to me.
Yes, yeah. So Hutchinson with the free kick. Deep in the left pocket. Kicks it up to the big ruckman, right at the back. Good hands to it. Hand passes to a teammate in Booth. Booth kicks it forward, but only as far as the Magpies play, and Brock. Good call by the umpire. The umpire says play on. Waratahs have the footy here, and Justin Bugler was in the right spot at the right time. Hadn't ventured far from his spray at goal. So he's taken the mark. Tight angle, about 35 metres out.
Bugler had stayed in the shade. That's what was going on there.
Where the light tower is.
He stayed in the shade of the light tower that entire time, and he's now picked up a shot on goal.
So we're right behind him here. He's going to take his time. The breeze going across the face of the goal, so he's going to have to start at the near goal post. Let the breeze take it. He does just that, and a perfect... he's just snuck it in for a behind. Geez, that looked perfect off the boot. The wind didn't grab it enough and through for another behind.
No,
it is a
that's
goal. He did get it.
It's a goal.
in.
You
It did sneak in.
You described how to do it perfectly, Tash, and the result was exactly what you were talking
I
about.
thought the bend around the post there at the last minute might have just snuck it in for a point, but another goal to Waratahs.
Great deal of scrappy play here from both teams. Waratah just making sure that they stuck their tackles and then just kept on pushing the ball forward. There he was, camped in the shade, Justin Bugler, and well you might at this time of the afternoon. Took the mark well, and then as Natasha Medbury described so perfectly, had to start it at the right goalpost. He did just that, and the ball swung in beautifully for a goal. 5 goals on the board now to Waratah's Palmerston, only the 1.
So Berry in the ruck, and for the first time today, Wilkins is out in the middle, and the ball came down to the ground. Wilkins is down on his haunches, and Freeman, who'd just gone back on, has been crunched again, and a free kick to Freeman right in the middle of Marara Oval number 1, and he's just going to kick it up to centre half forward. Rakawasa at the back gets a fist to it over the head of Yayamagu, and it is going to be hurriedly kicked to the top of the square. Russell Jeffrey, and is that going to bounce through? No. Desperation from Waratah's Gooch, and he is just a metre out from the goal line, saved it defensively for Waratah.
Waratahs the kick out to Gorman. Gorman quickly plays on. Got players loose here, Waratahs. This is a transition footy that they're doing well in this game. Good body work by Johnson. Picks it up now. Needs to get rid of it. He does. But straight to Wilkins for Waratahs running past. Kicks it into the 50. Emery has gone back to fullback. So Cole Emery's playing everywhere for the Magpies, and that's a poor kick. Rakawasa has the time and space on centre wing. Kicks it across, looking to switch the play. Pressure on his teammates. Waratahs dances around 1. The player kicks it into the 50. How does it work? Good body work by Bugler and Emery. Bugler off the ground. How will the bounce go across the face? And Sandy Brock just taps it through for a behind. So good transitional play again by Waratahs.
And Palmerston just not working hard enough through the middle of the ground, not manning up. Waratah with loose players everywhere. This is not looking great for Palmerston at this point in time.
Emery's back at fullback now for Palmerston. He goes for a big trot out on the right, goes underneath the scoreboard, fell into the lap of Nichols, went over his head. Rakawasa is there. He's got time, just puts a little chip over and finds the Waratah players who now all have numbers. Karanua on the 50, chips it into Cantilla, who is going to have a shot on goal, 40 metres out. Slight angle to the left.
And Kyle Emery with his arms extended there saying, where is everybody? You know, I can't man up Bugler and Cantilla, etc.
There was 3 passages of play there, and each Waratah player didn't have a Palmerston player around him. So Kim Cantilla comes in for the 6th goal for Waratah, and it is a success. Picks up his first goal of the afternoon as well, but it is Waratah 6-4-40 leading Palmerston 1-5-11, 13 minutes gone in the second quarter.
Well, Palmerston need to have a very good look at the way that they're approaching this game. They're not working hard enough. It's as simple as that. As we see this transition here, as you said, Shannon, just way too easy. Little toe pokes. There's another little toe poke on the lead. You can't even see a Palmerston player in the frame there to try and chase after Kim Cantilla. Took it easily, went back and kicked a nice cruisy goal. If this is happening at the 14-minute mark of the second quarter, not good for Palmerston. Need to have a good hard think right now. How are we going to approach the rest of this match?
So the young ruckman is Brock back in there having a chop out with Berry against Wilkins. Brock follows it up, does well, kicks into the 50. At the back is Berry. Berry's taken without it, picked up by Gagamungu. Just an up and under kick and goes out of bounds on the full.
Again, another opportunity. He actually had time to steady there. He didn't need to go the big snap. Opportunity to steady and have the direct shot on goal. Didn't do it.
So, going to go right across. Oh, that's probably
Has to be
a free kick for tunnelling. So Waratah going to get a free kick. That's Alwyn Davey Senior for tunnelling Zobel. He does a very risky kick into the top of the defensive 50. It was Berry that's got a hand to it. Now it's fallen to Russell. Russell's given the handball off in the goal square and dribbled through. Holt Tubbs gets Palmerston's second goal and put that down to a mistake from Zobel, and a great effort there from Berry to just get a tap, the turnover, and good team play there.
And Gokamungu featured as part of that as well. Here we see the turnover. Berry onto it straight away. Good punch into the corridor. Gokamungu bursts onto it, releases by hand. Davey, well done. Russell got the handball away. Keaton Holt Tubbs stationed in the goal square. Away he goes. His first goal of the afternoon. Can that lift them a bit? They've got to work harder. That's the key. Well, the change already in the middle with Sandy Brock against Wilkins. Worked with the first ball up. Let's see how they go now. Wilkins wins it. No, Brock does in the end, and smashed forward by the Waratahs player, only as far as Burnett, who runs past it, goes without it. Picked up by Henry Karanua. Lovely skills on the left. Keeps it low. How does it bounce? And it bounces through the goals. Henry Karanua, his second goal of the game. Beautiful skills, and just picked it up, had a shot, kept it nice and low with the breeze behind him, and it bounced through for a goal. Oh, that was just so beautifully done. A Tiwi magic on display. And here it was. Palmerston actually won the ruck contest. That's where they lost the footy. Took his eyes off the ball, was more concerned about who was coming. Karanua onto it, saw both forwards come leading out. The goal square was left vacant. Emery couldn't get back in time. Lovely, low, hard kick straight through for a goal.
So a quick reply for Waratah, and that is 46 to 17. 16 minutes gone. Wilkins up against Brock. Very similar height and structure, both of those. It was Wilkins that got the tap out, cleared out for Waratah. Now they're coming in a wave, put on the boot, or the right boot, Gardner, and up and under, and a great mark in front. Palmerston, they needed that from their captain Lonigan, and he has got a quick play out to Marika, and they're going to run out through the scoreboard side. Marika kicks it down in front of Davey Senior, and he just dribbles it under, but it's actually gone out of bounds. So Davey Senior not able to keep that in play. He lost a bit of his speed, Froggy Davey there. Well, we've seen him a couple of games too with a very heavy strapped calf. So, yeah, and now it's going to toss back in. Brock wins it at the front. Rakawasa, though, was down on the ground. He's tried to pick it up. Good tackle. And he is going to have to get it to the umpire. There'll be a ball up, and it was a great tackle laid by... Should probably make the change, I reckon, now on Davey, and put Raven Marika on the footy. He's lightning quick, and just with his hands and his skills, just get him on the footy. He's not getting enough of the footy. As Timms goes without, it was a good hand pass by Holt Tubbs and a good old coat hanger, and it's on here. So Clifford Timms just coat hanging his Waratah opponent. Now they're getting into it here, the players. They just need to go back and play footy. Oh, there's been a few thrown, but we'll stay with the footy. So Waratahs play on.
They do.
Kyle Emery versus Cantilla. Well done by Emery, but it gets to the back with Kim Cantilla. He's dangerous in this position. Pops it to the top of the square, and Justin Bugler takes it in the square, the goal square. Plays on and kicks the goal while it's still all on in backfield. And you look at the Magpie players out against the Waratahs players here, and there's probably more Magpies players that have stayed in the scuffle.
Oh, they just got it forward quickly, though. I tell you what, there'll be a lot looked at as a result of that. There'll well and truly be quite a few players missing, I dare say, from both teams. They were right into it there, particularly from a Palmerston perspective. Waratah, for the most part, stayed with the footy, and consequently have managed to score yet another goal. So just getting it forward quickly, too smart, too clever, using the footy really well, and Bugler finishing off to kick his goal. So 19 minutes gone in the second quarter. Waratahs 8-4-52, leading the Palmerston Magpies 2-5-17. As we see Clifford Timms come off. Just taken off, needs to sit down and cool himself, because yes, that was a huge melee, and unfortunately there are going to be a lot of players with their names down in the report book after this match. But the play goes on. It's come out and one out of the middle from Waratah, kicked hurriedly over on the right wing, and it's just going to beat two Palmerston players over the boundary, including that was
Matthew Philo, who was winning the race there, but the ball wasn't kind with him, so the ball tossed back in 60 metres. Wilkins for Waratah was in front, dropped down though, picked up by Emery. He goes down the commentary wing, a huge up and under. No one sitting underneath it, and it's Holt Tubbs that's got to get the kind bounce, taps it forward. Rakawasa gets a tap to it as well. He comes around and is pushed over the boundary from Holt Tubbs, and that is a good advantage for Palmerston. So they're going to be 40 metres out from their right post in the left forward pocket.
Kyle Emery contributing really well so far to the Palmerston Magpies. He's having to do it at both ends. Such a quality user of the footy. One of the main reasons why it's up this end with Palmerston. Another opportunity to put a score on the board.
So Berry against Wilkins wins front position. Emery, as we just spoke about, up and under, took it off the ruckman. How does it bounce? Want to get there as Nichols can't. Gooch just runs away with it for the Waratahs. Kicks it to centre wing. One-on-one here, kept running. Not a good hand pass, had to go back for it. Puts the body work on now. The numbers 2-on-2, either way. Up and under kick, and the mark should be taken by Gorman. He does. And switches play, looking for a player all on his own, and Simpson. Simpson over the top to Mincook, can turn around and play on, he doesn't. Chester holds him up. But there's that player that kept running. That should probably be 50, but Nicholas Gooch kept running, takes the mark. Gonna have to kick it from about 45, slight angle, but he just kept running. Good play by Waratahs.
Yes, again, that transition, it has killed Palmerston. For most of this first half, the transition from defence to forward 50, Waratah have just been so much better at it than what Palmerston have. Palmerston just have not worked hard enough across the course of this first half.
Yeah, looking very flat, the Palmerston players, as Gooch come in to kick Waratah's ninth before half-time. Looks good off the boot. The umpire works a bit, but he snuck it in, so Waratahs have their ninth. Good work to Nicholas Gooch. He worked hard for that. Been a consistent player for Waratahs this season. And good to see him get on the board, and I think he's playing at fullback, mind you. So that just goes to show the effort that he put in to get that goal.
And there they were on the wing. Wasn't the tidiest of footy, Natasha, you called it, that they missed the handball, but they went back in and kept working at it. And even when they mucked it up, not enough Palmerston players came to them. And then we see Mincook again. Players in space, inside forward 50. Gooch having worked from upfield down into forward 50, able to take, well, you won't say it's an uncontested mark, but he was there by himself for a little while. Lonergan having to work really hard to get there. Yet another opportunity with a lot of space around them, and Waratah taking full toll. 58 plays 17 now.
41 advantage to Waratah. Aruccio wins it, a tap just behind Berry. Now the ball's coming out to the side. Free kick, but it's going to be played on by Alwyn Davies Sr. Shadford goes through one, goes through two. Good sidestep, sizes up, and a great pass. And it has gone down to Gaika Manguru, who just caught it on the chest, and that is the delivery that you want. That is a perfect weighted pass. And Shadford, though, had to do a bit of nice footwork to get through three Waratah players to find Gaika Manguru, who's going to kick it. 45 metres, slight angle to the left, stutters over the 50, puts it on the boot, has the distance but does not have the accuracy, and it is going to go through behind. Waratah 9-4-58, leading Palmerston 2-6-18. Siren not too far away for half-time.
Well, one of Palmerston's best entries into forward 50. Well done to Shadforth to do that. The lead was good, the kick was beautiful, the hard work was terrific, the last kick was terrible.
So Gooch with the kick out. Middle of the Waratah's opponents was Berry, back to Aruccio. Big ruckman, under enormous pressure, gets it back, hand passes to a teammate, puts him under pressure. But they've got the numbers here, Waratahs, and that's been the difference the whole game, is the numbers. Waratahs, the Magpies play and Murden goes without it, tries to shovel it out. Again, the numbers are here for Waratahs. You get to the top of the 50, that's Smith. Got hands to it, then gets rid of his opponent, goes in for a second crack. Mishai Perry Jr. needs to get rid of it, gets back in, kicks the ball out. Russell Davey comes in, the ball's kicked towards the boundary line. 4 players running to it here, and it goes out of bounds in front of our commentary box, and the Magpies interchange. So 24.5 minutes gone, Waratah still with a handy lead by 40 points. They just need to try and get a goal here before half-time, Magpies.
Tossed in right in front of the Palmerston interchange. Berry was uncontested in the ruck. I don't think a Waratah player were able to even nominate for that. And now there is a little bit more feeling here. Rakawasa was the man on the bottom. Alwyn Davey Sr. has just been dragged off him, and it has erupted here at half-time. Russell Davey is in there. Palmerston are just trying to be pulled back. Waratah players are not looking like they should be there either. So there is going to be a lot to dissect in this game for the umpires that might not pick it up now, but whoever is watching the game after this, that we've had 2 melees.
Quite just like Dave Mungle, just in the back, just wandering through, doesn't get involved whatsoever. It's too hard, it's too hot. I'm not wasting my energy.
We're here for when the heavens open and the winds howl. We're here for when the water just won't stop. We're here for the wet and we're here for the dry. We're here because we know there's nowhere else you'd rather be.
And there's nowhere else we'd rather be either. TIO Home Insurance. We're for Territorians.
Absolutely zero.
Zero.
Yeah, definitely.
It has to be zero.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I don't think that's asking too much.
kilonewton centrifugal force, infrared remote control.
How does he do it?
24.5 kilowatt diesel motor.
He doesn't just know how to operate every piece of Kennard's hire gear we get in, but also its service details, its safety checks. I don't know.
It's as if he can hypnotise each piece.
Give me 2 passes with sauce. Coffee white with 1, bun with icing. No, pink icing.
Yep, no worries, Terry.
Kennard's make your job easy.
Time to escape, 'cause I'm in need of warmer weather. Sail upon the stream to find there's someplace better. And I'm going far and wide. Ooh.
Great Northern Brewing Co., the beer from up here.
Boys, we've got a real big problem. It belongs to you, it belongs to me, it belongs to everybody. I'm talking about family violence. It's time we said no more to family violence, isn't it? Yeah. Think about it.
We've all got to say no more to family violence.
No more!
Family violence is a community problem and it needs a community response from all of us, and sport is a big part of that. But we can all do our bit by being more respectful to each other. Please make this year the year we say no more to family violence.
Looking for the best and brightest to join your team? At Quality People, we specialise in finding quality, hard-to-get professionals, and we have an office right here in Darwin. Kick your recruitment goals with Quality People. qualitypeople.com.au.
Now that's quality.
You are one of almost 140,000 people living in an area at risk of being affected by a cyclone this wet season. In your cyclone kit, you will need a battery-operated radio and torch with spare batteries, enough food and at least 10 litres of water per person to sustain you and your family for 72 hours or more. Remember, all important documentation such as passports, photos and insurance policies should be kept in a safe and waterproof place. Be prepared this wet season. Brought to you by TIO.
On Territory roads, anything can happen, so you need to drive to the conditions. Speeding can get you into all sorts of trouble. Dirt roads aren't just dusty. When it's hard to see, they're dangerous. At water crossings, remember, You're driving a motor car, not a boat. High water can be deep trouble.
Choosing a health fund can be tricky. Some are too big, too small, or just not right at all. But with Territory Health Fund, you can make sure your cover is the right fit.
The NTFL clubs and umpires would like to share the following events and messages and thank their sponsors.
Getting my hands on the footy and just being with my mates.
I like being outdoors. It just makes me happy. I don't like it when I get yelled at.
It's pretty embarrassing when someone's shouting at you halfway through the game.
It makes me feel like I'm useless and I can't do anything.
We're just kids.
We're just here to have fun.
Let us do what we love.
Just let kids be kids.
You go home and get your standies, I'll go home and get my panties, and away we'll go. Oh, shuffle up the buffalo, shuffle up the buffalo.
For more information, please visit the relevant club or umpire's Facebook page.
So I think it came at the right time, at least the halftime break.
Yeah, the siren did come at the right time, fortunately, for the umpires as well. But just watching the players get around each other here, I think Russie Davey has a bit of an injury concern, or he needs some strapping, or he needs some water. He's a little bit hot out there. That's the president, of course, Russie Davey. So it's a hard task. 40 points down. It's not undoable. You can do it.
Well, the first goal...
We just watched on the replay here, just the scuffle before half-time.
So it was Rakawasa who was on the bottom. Alwyn Davey Senior was on top. Some players didn't like it. And there is a lot of very unhappy players. And so we are going to see a lot more of this, I think, in the next couple of days. That one probably wasn't as bad as the one before it, where there were a number of players, and I'm pretty sure there were punches thrown. So anyway, we'll have to see what comes out of that as we get the second half underway here at Marara Oval. Waratah 9-4-58 leading Palmerston 2-6-18. I'm Shannon Byrne, joined in commentary by Natasha Medbury, who is playing tonight as well. So you've got a very long day of footy, Tash, so good luck with your game tonight. You take on Southern Districts in the Women's Premier League, and that's going to be a big game, 3 versus 4th out at Palmerston. Yeah. And that's going to be huge.
It will be, and of course, Crocs are coming off a loss against Buffett's last week, which was a great game of footy. We finished our game and come and watch the second half of that game, and some quality women's footy. They drew level with about 8 or 9 minutes left, and then Buffs were able to get another goal on the board. So yeah, it's going to be a hard task. Southern Districts are a hot team. They beat us earlier in the year by about 20-odd points, so we're looking to get one back, but hopefully it's good quality footy.
And Dominic McCormack is your expert for this footy match, round 14. 5 more games, including this one for the 2 teams out. There is a halftime Crocs leading Tiwi by 5 points. And tonight, Darwin take on Wanderers. And Jared Stokes will be playing his 150th NTFL game. Natasha Medbury to get us back underway.
Waratah wins the tap down, but Emery gets there first for the Magpies. He's tried his heart out all game. Umpire says play on. He's probably looking for the free kick. Johnson's in the middle now for the Magpies. A lot of pressure put on to start this game. Kicked forward by Waratahs. Clever by Cantilla, looking for Keranul, but he went without it. Kicked off the ground by Russie Davey. Picked up by Shadford, gets it out, but goes without it. The Magpie player just can't get their hands on the footy cleanly. Picked up by Russie Davey. He does a chip over the top. He's seen Emery on his own. Got a player in the 50 on his own as well, but lets that go. Puts it to the top of the square, looking for Frank, and that's a good lead and a good mark by Izzy Frank. For the second time they've gone into the 50 cleanly. Uncontested mark in the end. So cycle Frank takes the mark, going to kick it from about 45, just a slight angle.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Natasha. Second best entry, I think, so far this match. The last one was from Shadforth. That one there, a beautiful kick. Ezekiel Frank on the lead, taking it on his chest. Let's see if he can finish off.
So Breeze going across the face of the goal. So again, start it to the right. Looks good as the wind grabs it and takes it straight through the big sticks. A good way to start the quarter to the Magpies and get their 3rd goal on the board through Frank.
Yeah, well done to Ezekiel Frank. And just the way the Palmerston Magpies needed to start, and I think for the sake of the game, that's the way that we needed the Palmerston Magpies to start. You see the crash and bash over there. Shadforth has not stopped trying. Russell Davey going in and grabbing hold of the footy. Lovely little chip from him. Great skills on the left boot. To Emery. Emery almost always uses the footy well, and that was no exception there. The good lead, placed it beautifully, took the mark, and Ezekiel Frank going back and kicking the goal. 3 goals, plays 9, not insurmountable. Long way to go yet, but Palmerston need to keep up that work ethic now and make sure that it remains for the rest of the quarter.
Can they kick back to back? Much needed here. Coming out, 1 down by Emery. Given to running through was Shadforth, and he is going to pick out Alwyn Jr. He's going to get the handball back, Shadforth, so he started this 3rd quarter well. Great vision and a great option, and he has picked up Philo. 55 metres out, a couple of metres in from the boundary on the right forward pocket, and he just chips it into Frank, and Frank is going to... Well, he's going to go back. There's not too much movement forward.
He's got the distance. He's got the distance in him.
So he's going to have to kick it on the paint of 50. Slight angle to the right. Picks up the ball after adjusting his boots. Walks in now, slow approach. Starts with the stutter. Right on the paint of 50, and he has shanked that to the right, and that has gone a good 5 metres to the right of the far post, and he has missed everything, and he's tried too hard to get that distance.
Yes, you could see him angling out to the right, and most often that's where you kick, and that's exactly what happened.
Waratah's with the free kick. Just taking his time, called to play on. It's not up and under kick looking for Racho. Good hand in there by Racho. It was dropping to Berry, gets the ball back to Shadford. Started this quarter well, and a fortunate kick lands in the arms of Gay Kamungnu.
He did well, didn't he? Gee, took the mark low down, took it beautifully, and again, Palmerston is quickly inside 50. And this time, now, they're playing in front.
That's what he's
getting
playing.
the reward.
He's playing in front, so have to kick it from about 40.
His last couple of attempts have not been good, Gay Kamungnu. So, Natasha, you're not allowed to make a prediction here, and I won't either.
No, we're right behind him here on the screen. You can see where the big sticks are. Slight breeze behind him. Good way to start the quarter for Magpies. Can they get their fourth on the board? Takes his time, up and under. How does the breeze grab it? He sneaks it in. Well done to the Palmerston Magpies. That's 2 in a row. So 4-6-30 playing Waratah's 9-4-58. 4 minutes gone into this first quarter, and they've kicked 2 goals to start the quarter.
And what a difference it makes, doesn't it? There's some positivity there. Players are playing in front. There's been some terrific efforts. Shadforth's disposal of the footy there on a number of occasions was great. And look at that. What a kick off the side of the boot. Don't tell me that was deliberate. And Gay Kamungnu playing in front, takes the mark, and most importantly, went back calmly and finished off with a goal. 28 points the difference now. It's not the biggest of gaps. It really isn't. Palmerston need to play some positive footy, keep working hard.
So 2 in a row for the Palmerston Magpies to start this third quarter. Aruccio up against Berry. Ball tossed high. Aruccio got the tap. Berry had gone too early. Shadforth couldn't pick it up. And now he goes back in. Shadforth crashes through the pack. Ball still down on the ground. And that's going to be Aruccio giving a free kick away to Marika. Marika just takes off and looks forward down to Frank. Left forward pocket. Ball just beating Frank. And he might have kicked that out on the full. He has. It was bouncing, and it's just hit his shin as it's gone over the boundary. So a lucky escape for Waratah, because they're going to be able to bring it out defensively. Gooch has it in the left back pocket. He looks forward, just chips it around. Still inside their defensive 50. Palmerston are doing well, going man on man. Great kick down though, and it's Bugler who had lost his player. He wheels around, goes down the commentary wing. Now it's the numbers to Waratah. Fell in the lap of Blake. He kicks it down to the top of the square. Ball bouncing over Brock, and he got a good kick to it. Berry for Palmerston Magpies is going to bring it outside the forward 50. Not able to pick it up, so he toe poked it forward. Toe pokes it again, the big man, and it's going to be Palmerston on the outer wing. And Lonigan, the captain, he's being harassed. He has picked it up, gets a handball away, and Berry runs into Marika. Marika pads it forward. He got it off to Russell. Davey, he kicks it hurriedly down to the forward 50 of Palmerston, but it is gone in the lap of Smith, and now the Waratah are going to come out through the commentary wing.
And Carroll does switch the play, looking for Bugler. Tacks the footy, gets around Emery to his right boot. It drops short. Davies there, goes over his head. Both players misread it. Matthew Blake at the back. Cantilla back over to Blake. Blake kicks for goal and goes straight across the face, and it goes out of bounds on the full. So just a rush of blood then. I think he had a lot more time and space, did Blake.
Well,
and
comedy
options.
And options too, that's right. Comedy of errors there from both teams. Which team can be the cleanest in this quarter?
So kick out. Oh, it was a very brave running back with the flight of ball was Collis. Collis has picked it up after it was kept in play by a Magpies player, but Collis has just picked out Karanua in the left forward pocket. He's about 6 metres in from the boundary line, so a tight angle for Karanua. He's going to have to kick it 40 metres out from the left. He's on the paint of 50 at the moment. There's a couple of players in back Booth's down, looks like he's cramping, so water being given to him. Karanua looking for his third of the afternoon. Karanua from the left forward pocket, if you don't mind. And Karanua has just slotted through his third.
Well, that is a sensational kick from Henry Karanua, and again it came from unclean play from the Palmerston Magpies. Waratah, on the other hand, their foot skills have been far better than Palmerston this afternoon. Here it goes, Palmerston just unable to extract. That's a nice push in the back there, which I thought was so obvious and then wasn't called. The turnover, calm use of the footy, Karanua standing there by himself. You can understand somewhat when Palmerston are trying to transition from defence, but then his finish was absolutely sensational from deep in the left forward pocket. So another goal on the board for Tars. They just extend that lead a little bit, back out to 34 points again. Can Palmerston keep working and reply quickly?
So we're back in the middle. Berry, Racho. Racho doesn't get the tap down. Emery runs onto it, kicks it out of the centre square, just booms it into the 50, looking for Frank at the back. It bounces past everyone and goes out of bounds deep in the forward pocket for the Magpies. So an opportunity here for the Palmerston Magpies. Right forward pocket here. Boundary throw in. Just see how they set up here in the ruck. So Frank's going to go against the big man. Right, Joe drops short. Frank from the back. Quick kick out of the pack for the Waratahs player. Out of the defensive 50 for now. Close to the 50. Magpies players around it. Tackled hard. A lot of pressure on here. Richard Perry Junior goes in hard. Emery as well. That's front on contact. The umpire says play on. Because that was a big hit as well. Emery is feeling it, getting himself up slowly.
Yeah, just making sure that the umpire, I think, realises that he was actually hit quite hard in that contest.
Ball up directly at the top of the 50-metre. Ruccio with a beautiful tap down, and the Waratah player is set on by 3 Palmerston players. Carroll was at the bottom of that. Gee, if he'd got hold of that.
He read that well, didn't he?
Yeah, so Ruccio, great hands in the ruck at the moment, but only as far as Philo. He got a handball out, still in the forward 50 for the Palmerston Magpies. Hurried kick forward and a diving mark, and a great diving mark for the Palmerston Magpies is Nichols. And Nichols has an opportunity to get a goal for Palmerston, and this is directly in front. Rakawasa's not even on the mark, hasn't looked, so Nichols has just quickly slotted a goal, and bad defence there from Rakawasa, and allowed Nichols just to get a metre or two advantage, and he has picked up the 5th goal for the afternoon for the Palmerston Magpies, but it's still Waratah 10-4-64, leading Palmerston 5-6-36, 10 minutes gone, third quarter.
Back to the 28-point margin, and just the work ethic here again, and this has been the difference in this quarter. Look at the numbers, look at the work ethic, the captain leading from the front there, Lonergan, and the other thing that happened there was Nichols. Not only was the work ethic good upfield, but Nichols made sure he was in front. And we've seen that happen 2 or 3 times already in this quarter. Palmerston Magpie forwards making sure that they're in front. When the ball drops short, you are Johnny on the spot, taking the mark. The opportunity's there.
You always got the advantage, don't you? You're in front. Ball up. Here the ruckman get the tap down. Cleanly taken by Gorman through the middle. Has a bounce, kicks it into the 50. It's a poor kick. Timms reads it best for the Magpies. Gorman follows up his own kick. Taps it out to himself. Numbers here, but taken away by Hutchinson. Just a torpedo-like kick. Outnumbered here are the Magpie player on his own, which was the goal kicker in Nichols. Owen Davey pulled out of a big hit. Did the right thing there. Hand passed out to Henry Kiranua, long pass to Bugler. Bugler off one step, snaps, and goes across the face. He had a couple of teammates on there that he got a hand pass to. I reckon there was about 3 or 4 options he could have gone to then. 3 for a behind.
Absolutely. Even Kiranua probably had a few longer kicks he should have taken, but now it's going to come out Palmerston. In front was Emery. Ball goes over the back of him. Picked up, and a long looping handball from Graham into the middle of the forward 50. Emery has been busy all game. He was manhandled but got a handball out. Picked up by Davey Jr. Gives it to his dad, gets it back, and a long kick to centre half forward. But in front was Gooch, and Gooch is down on the ground with Rakawasa is down there too. It's a great defensive work from the Waratah players because
Nichols,
Palmerston
I
had
think.
number.
Yeah, Nichols did well to hold that ball up then.
Nichols did magnificently then. Rakawasa could have been away, couldn't get clean disposal.
So, and front, and he's just picked it out of the ruck himself. Frank, has he got the flight and run of the ball? He does. In the ruck, if you don't mind, tapped it down to himself, and he just put it onto the boot. There was no one in home in the goal square, and that has dribbled through 30 metres for a goal to Frank, and his third for the afternoon, a second for the afternoon, and more importantly, the second one in his third quarter.
How casual was that?
There he goes. How good was that? That was just so quick. Took it out of the ruck contest, knew that there was nobody back there, which was a poor effort from Tars. Had the crack at goal. It was absolutely dead straight rolling for 30 metres. Incredible.
You never hear very often in football hand passes to his dad running past, do you? Through the centre square.
As soon as you said that, I thought, what a magic moment that is. You do not hear that very often. That's just brilliant. Well done to the David. No, it's not planned, but it's just one of those things.
Gets the hand pass back from his dad. That was great. So back in the middle, Magpies here fighting for the footy. Kicked off the ground by Alan Davey. Didn't get good purchase on it. But here's that man again, Cole Emery. He's everywhere. Good tackle by Alwyn Davies Senior. Close to the boundary. Emery again for the second effort. That should be close to holding the footy. It is. Cole Emery.
Everywhere.
Oh, he has been absolutely brilliant today for the Palmerston Magpies. So the free kick right on the boundary in front of the grandstand, the Waratahs interchange. Goes back. The poor kick as we praised him up. Murden under enormous pressure. Over the top to Chester. Fortunate. Luck's falling Magpies' way at the moment, and a good hit at the footy by Gay Kamangnu. But Kerenal was here for Waratahs, picks it up, kicks it over to Gorman. Smith's going to get there first. He does. Clean hands. Gives it back to his teammate O'Connor. Hand passes it from the 50. O'Connor goes for a long kick. Bugler got hands to it, but couldn't take the mark against Russell Davey. I don't know what he's doing down at full back against Justin Bugler, but did well in the end. So Russell Davey's going to take the kick out for the Palmerston Magpies. So 14, nearly 15 minutes gone. Waratahs 10-6-66. Palmerston Magpies 6-6-42.
There was a very big, huge collision in the middle of the park, and unfortunately Gardner for Waratahs comes straight off and he's gone into the ice room. So we'll keep an eye if there's any, opportunity for him to come back. He didn't look too well with a left shoulder, so we'll keep an eye across that as the play now is getting very vocal from the Palmerston Magpies supporter. Free kick going to Marika for too high. He kicks it into the middle of the park, was looking for Nichols, and now it's still right in the middle of Marara Oval 1. Rakawasa picked it up, probably dropped it, and a free kick should have gone to Palmerston Magpies, but now it comes out, and in the lap of Frank, diving mark forward. It was a great kick forward from Shadforth, and the delivery has been good here, and that is going to be a free kick, not only because Frank decided to play on quickly, but he's going to be very, very slow to get to his feet. Frank had it 55 metres out, went for a short pass to Nichols, who now is directly in front, 35 metres out, and there was a late there from O'Connor, and Nichols very slow to his feet.
Raven Marika, geez, he's looking exciting. He's trying to pick up his speed.
Got to have him up the field, Raven Marika, to get him into the play. Use that pace indeed. And again, terrific play from Palmerston there. Numbers around the footy, kept pushing it forward. And we saw some good ball use. And who's led it? It's been led by Shadforth with his kicking from midfield.
So Nichols stutters in, 35 metres out, directly in front, looking for Palmerston's 7th goal. And they've got it. And that's his second for the afternoon as well for Nichols. So this is a big quarter for the Palmerston Magpies. They've now kicked 5 goals in this third term, and they've got the margin now down to within 3 goals.
Yep, they're back in this game, the Palmerston Magpies. Aaron Lonergan crashing through, laying good tackle. Shadforth picking up the footy. He delivered it beautifully to Frank. I was watching Frank on the lead, and he was pointing, saying, kick it low, kick it low. And he actually did, and he kicked it perfectly. Ezekiel Frank sharing the footy, going to Nichols, who's played in front all quarter. Dare I say it, Palmerston Magpies are back in this game. This is an 18-point margin.
There's a warning.
There's going to be...
We've got a warning first. They warn once. They warn once, put the ball down, and then they'll ball it up. the next one will be a free
kick out of the middle.
Yep, so there's a warning already here.
That was against Raven Marika as well. So Berry needs to take advantage against the young Ruckman and Wilkins here. Doesn't, but Emery's at the back, kicked off the ground by the Waratahs player forward. Alwyn Davies going to get there first. Probably need to take possession of that. Kicks it forward. Emery's there, tries to tap it to himself. Good body work by Collis. And Russell Davey comes in and lets Collis know that he was around the footy as he goes for an interchange here. So a boundary throw in right in front of our commentary box. You can hear the Magpie crowd trying to lift their players.
So 18 minutes gone in the third quarter. Spirited effort here from Palmerston, and it is in front. Berry that tapped it forward, and now 3 Palmerston players around Collis for Waratah. We've seen that for the most of the match, but normally it's the opposite way around. So Palmerston trying to get involved here. Tap down from Berry, looking for Shadforth. And he did a brilliant tackle, Shadforth, and the ball has just gone out over the boundary. Shadforth laid an absolute pearler on Graham.
And should have been rewarded too, just that the umpire wasn't in the right position. No fault there from an umpiring perspective. He just couldn't see.
The boundary thrown, Berry against Wilkins again. Berry, the tap down, gets it back to Johnson. Johnson lays a tackle, but Waratahs here maintain possession over the top to Alwyn Davies Senior off the side of his boot. He's kicking it to his son. So Junior should get to it first, but he's got Mencook who puts on a great tackle. Good contest there. Frank comes and helps him out. Kicks it to Nichols. Play on, didn't go the 15. Back to Frank. Frank launches for goal. No one's in the goal square. How does it bounce? And it goes through for a goal. So Frank has his third goal of the game. 3 in this quarter, mind you. And Magpies have kicked their 8th. Palmerston 8-6-54. Waratahs 10-6-66. And nearly 20 minutes gone.
Well, I am wrapped for the Palmerston Magpies Footy Club. Their first half was poor, to say the least. The Melees were a bit of a disgrace, again, to say the least, and they led them. But this is more like it. This is much better play. Just positive footy, numbers around the ball, looking for your teammates, sharing the footy, and then when you've got an opportunity, have a true crack at it. Ezekiel Frank, 3 goals this quarter's been outstanding, but the numbers and the positivity's been terrific. Well done, Palmerston Magpies. This is much more about what your supporters would want to see when it comes to playing footy.
Not too far to go in this third term, and Palmerston have it to 2 goals straight. That's the margin they need to get. And it's 1 down out for Palmerston. Under the bottom is Emery, and he was on the bottom, and he
dragged it back in. He did,
yeah, he dragged it back in, and then didn't look like he was trying to get rid of it. So Waratah are going to get out of the middle easily. Kick forward. Alwyn Davies Senior playing in front, took the mark. He goes into the middle of the park. A very juggly mark there from Nichols. He's looking very nervous out in front of him. He decides to go on to the outer wing, and Palmerston now just holding it up. Go forward to Alwyn Davey Jr. He's being harassed by Mincook. Mincook not able to get around. He slipped over, and Misha Perry Jr. was there. So the 2 young cousins are around the ball at the moment. Mishai Perry Jr. handballs it out to himself out of traffic. Great work. Wasn't able to pick it up. Kicks it forward. And it is going to be picked up by the Waratah player. And it goes straight down the middle. Dropped mark by Collis. And Emery has had a shot on goal. And that was a fumble there from Collis. Nearly got them into a spot of bother because Emery's missed to the left, and it was only a point to Waratah.
Pressure on here by the Maggies. Pressure.
Zobel hand passes when he was under pressure. They're under enormous pressure here. Shatford puts it to himself, kicks it off the ground. It's going to go through for a goal. It's kicked off the ground.
What a goal.
Oh, wow. And if anyone deserves a goal, it's Shatford. He's played a brilliant game and good at ground level as well. So Palmerston Magpies have got their 9th. They're only 5 points behind Waratahs, but wow, what a goal.
What a goal indeed. And as you say, look at this play here. Play on was the call. He's handballed it out. The pressure that came again from Nichols. Shadforth comes in, gets his body in. Nichols is there. Shadforth just toe pokes it, just puts boot to ball again. Ezekiel Frank was signalling to him saying, why didn't you kick it to me? Meanwhile, behind him, the ball's going through for a goal. Palmerston, unbelievable. 5 points is the margin. They trail by 40 at half time.
So we have the dying seconds of the third quarter here. Palmerston trying to get it out through the middle. Perry had it down on the ground. Sorry, Berry. But it's Waratah that are going to bring it out. And the ball's going through the hands of players of Gorman at the moment. He's going to get a handball back. He comes back to Carroll. Carroll just chips it forward to Karanua, and Karanua is absolutely ragdolled by that man who's everywhere at the moment. Emery is having a mighty third quarter, and he did ragdoll him a bit too much, says the umpire, and Karanua is going to have a free kick attacking side of the commentary wing. He puts it forward, goes over the head of Smith, picked up off the ground. Smith kept running. He tries to keep it in. He does. Out on the boot and just toe-poked through. So a reply there, and that is Waratah just being able to get the ball there. Smith was in the left forward pocket. So Waratah have kicked a goal out of nothing after all the play was in favour of Palmerston.
There's Bugler who got it forward. It then came from Jamie Smith, and the person who's kicked it off the ground is Blake. So Matthew Blake, one of the more consistent players for Tars over a number of years now. He was Johnny on the spot there. They just kept moving it forward, didn't they? Just kept going. So well done there to Waratah. They extend that lead. It was 5, now to 11 as we tick down towards three-quarter time.
They needed that goal as well, just to steady the ship a little bit. So back in the middle, Berry against Wilkins. Berry wins the tap down, straight down to Palmerston play. Duck the head, so the umpire says play on. Give it to me. For another throw up, right in the centre square still. Berry wins the tap, smashes it over his head. Lonergan goes without it. Fortunate there for the captain. Good work by Kim Cantilla. 3 bounces, 4 bounces. Kicks it, and it's a wayward kick, and good hands by Chester for the Palmerston Magpies. Kicks it down the line. Here on centre wing, and a good spoil by Brodie Carroll. Punches it over the boundary line, the boundary throw in directly in front of our commentary box, grandstand side.
Well, Waratah need to keep pressing here. Only moments to go. Palmerston need to try and hang on.
Berry in front of Wilkins. Wilkins tries to get there, gets a hand to it, just over the head of Carroll. Kicked off the ground, picked up by Mincook. He gets a handball in the direction of Rakawasa, who's had to backtrack all the way into their defensive 50, arched his back, and he's kicked it all the way over to Gooch, who is over under the scoreboard. Karanua's telling him to come with the ball, but he puts it forward to Karanua, takes a mark directly in the centre wing of the outside. Gooch kept running, gets a handball over, pierces it into the forward 50, and it's going to be chopped off for Palmerston, but it's going to actually be Wilkins who's had the intercept hand. Now it's Waratah. In there to forward 50. Timms has absolutely smashed a Waratah player without the ball. And down on the ground as well, a Palmerston player in Murden has been caught up. He's holding his ankle. It's play on. It's a bit messy in the forward. 80% of the players are in the forward 50 for Waratah. Seconds away, Karanua with a snap-on goal at the top of the square. And whirling around is Bugler. He's put a huge up and under. Drop mark from Alwyn Davey Jr. And there is the siren.
By the siren.
And that is why 80% of the players were inside the forward 50 for Waratah. An absolute desperation from both teams out there to finish the third quarter, where Waratah 11-6-72 are leading Palmerston 9-7-61.
We're here for when the heavens open and the winds howl. We're here for when the water just won't stop. We're here for the wet, and we're here for the dry. We're here because we know there's nowhere else you'd rather be.
And there's nowhere else we'd rather be either. TIO Home Insurance. We're for Territorians.
So we can feel forever, yeah, feel together, real together. No one can stop. No one can stop. Nothing can ever break.
Mother Nature can be frighteningly predictable in the Territory this time of year. Heavy rains and damaging winds can cause significant problems and disruption, particularly if you're unprepared, while downed power lines and flash flooding can be lethal. To ensure you're ready, visit powerwater.com.au/safety or text SAFETY to 0428 323 991 for more information. Because staying safe and ready around Mother Nature should be second nature.
CFS Schoolwear is the perfect choice for quality custom-made school uniforms. Ideal clothing for all school-related activities, whether it's 50 or 500 students, we have what you need. Contact the Cricket and Football Shop NT for your free CFS Schoolwear quote today.
Let's see. Roma, Verona?
Perhaps Barcelona.
Make your dream holiday a reality. Book your next getaway at Flight Centre with interest-free holidays and flexible repayment options.
Best in the air.
And everywhere.
Flight Centre.
Intersport, new concept store now open in Casuarina Square. Come in and check out a world-class shopping experience.
Dedicated sports zones.
Now stocking only the biggest brands in tennis, cricket, fitness from treadmills to benches, boxing, swimming, darts, pool and table tennis. For awesome service and advice, still locally owned and operated, the all-new Intersport concept store.
Now open at Casuarina Square.
Boys, we've got a real big problem. It belongs to you, it belongs to me, it belongs to everybody. I'm talking about family violence. It's time we said no more to family violence, isn't it? Yeah. Think about it.
We've all got to say no more to family violence.
No more!
Family violence is a community problem and it needs a community response from all of us, and sport is a big part of that. But we can all do our bit by being more respectful to each other. Please make this year the year we say no more to family violence.
You are one of almost 140,000 people living in an area at risk of being affected by a cyclone this wet season. In your cyclone kit, you will need a battery-operated radio and torch with spare batteries, enough food and at least 10 litres of water per person to sustain you and your family for 72 hours or more. Remember, all important documentation such as passports, photos and insurance policies should be kept in a safe and waterproof place. Be prepared this wet season. Brought to you by TIO.
Digital radio and streaming on the ABC.
Somebody forget about what?
Final quarter coming up here at Waratah Oval. Which team can register another win for the season? They have been hard to come by for both teams that are in front of us here at Waratah Oval. Waratah sit in 7th. They've only had 3 wins for the season. Well, they did have another one, but it actually was taken off of them because of an incorrect score sheet. For Palmerston, they've had their only win of the season last week against Wanderers when it was a thrilling 8-point win. It looks like a thrilling end coming up here as well. Palmerston are so keen to get this third final quarter underway. They're already out in the middle. Waratah taking every moment that they can and just making their way to their positions.
Yeah, just on that, they're lucky that they actually just picked up that they had one extra player on the field there, Magpies, and they had to get Alwyn Davies Jr. off quickly, set up on the far wing over there, and they realised that they didn't have the right numbers. So he quickly had to come up. I was thinking there was only 2 down on the bench. Yes, I was
too keen. Well, they are down a player on the bench as well. Freeman has been ruled out. He picked up a head clash in the second quarter and is
friendly fire as well.
Yes, not able to participate anymore. But let's get underway. Final term, Natasha Medbury.
Berry wins a tap down only as far as Blake. Blake kicks it to nowhere, just to space on forward of the centre wing for Waratahs. First there is Perry Jr. Goes without it. Hand passes over the top. Waratahs to Henry Karanua. Can't control it. Magpies here in Murden. Murden kicks it off the ground. Or that was Chester. Player all on his own in the 50, and that's a good one-handed mark to Gorman. Gorman plays on from the boundary. Difficult kick, goes across the face and through for a behind. So a good start to Waratahs from the centre square. Let's see what they have now. So the kicking goal, kick-out duties are to Alwyn Davey Senior.
Doing it all at the moment. He just goes in short. Oh, marked drop that should have been taken by Chester. He's under a mountain of pressure. Waratah pick it up. Snap on goal from Gorman. And he has kicked a goal out of nothing after Chester dropped a mark from the kick out. And Gorman has booted it off a couple of steps, 40 metres out. And that has sailed through. And that is a dagger in the heart defensively for Palmerston. Waratah 12-7-79 to Palmerston 9-7-61. 1 minute gone in the final term.
Oh, Chester furious with himself as we see Gorman there kick the goal. What a start for Tars. That's exactly what they would have wanted. It was a good kick from Alwyn Davey Senior straight onto the chest of Chester. He just couldn't grab the footy. Good to see some teammates go over to him. The runner go over to him to say, hey, come on. Get your head up. It's 79-61. Palmerston are actually still in this game. There's a lot of footy to go in this last quarter.
So back in the middle, the ruckman go at it. Neither win the advantage. Still in the centre square. Hand pass by Blake. Blake started this quarter well. To Gorman. Gorman goes back to Carroll. Carroll with a quick kick in front, but punched away by Hutchinson for the Magpies. Chester's trying to redeem himself. Goes in. Shadford with a big hit. Kieran Orr with lovely hands and a good mark taken by O'Connor. So over the top of Alwyn Senior. Alwyn Davey Senior, sorry. Just got caught ball watching a little bit there for his experience, Alwyn. So O'Connor's going to go back and kick from directly in front, about 40 metres out. Slight breeze just going across the face. So this will be a great start to Waratahs. Start this last quarter. Looks good off the boot. The umpire does not move. Straight through the big sticks. Waratahs have their second to start this last quarter.
Well, there it goes already. They kicked only 2 goals for the entirety of the third quarter, Waratah, after the Palmerston onslaught. Already 2.5 minutes gone in this last quarter. Tars 2 goals on the board. They've been terrific out of the middle. They've had more numbers around the footy, and they've just used it better when they've been able to get hold of it. Quick inside 50, judging the ball better. You see a good mark taken there by O'Connor, and he goes back and finishes the job. So 2 goals on the board. 3 minutes down. What can we see here from the Palmerston Magpies? They need to dig in now.
This is a good matchup. Emery's on Collis, and both of those probably should have ice bath first after their efforts so far. Ball not won by any real advantage to either ruckman. Blake put it on the boot for Waratah. Umpire saying play on.
That was a mark.
That looked like it was a mark just on the edge of the square in favour of O'Connor, and he was told to play on. So
not happy.
How good's Blake? 3 clearances.
Going to be
so
a ball
last
up.
Quarter.
Aruccio in front. He taps it forward. Though for Palmerston, trying to pick it up but not able to get it cleanly was Johnson. Now back in for the Waratah inside the forward 50. And just ducking under that was Collis, the man we mentioned. And it is not going to move too far. And the umpire will have to, he's already said he'd ball it up, even though it just came out.
Through for a goal, mind you, too.
If he had held that for 2 seconds longer, the umpire, that was a goal to Tars.
So it is in the right forward pocket, 35 metres out, slight angle to the left.
They've got to set up really well here, Palmerston, if they don't want this to be another goal. Everybody has to be man on man. You see Alwyn Davey, in fact, by himself as the loose. Let's see what happens.
So ball up, smashed away. There's that man there. Davey Senior gets the ball back again. Hand passes out to Philo. Philo goes without it. Back to Davey Jr. Kicks it out to Burnett. Has a runner going past, ignores that, plays on, has a bounce, has another. Kicks it to Nichols running forward, needs to mark it, he can't, he goes to ground. Good work by Waratahs here. So chips it up the top. It's a poor kick, and Philo should have taken the mark. That was the mark. It was clearly in his hands. The umpire says play on. It was hit out afterwards, but Magpies maintain the footy. Raven Marika from 55 bombs it long and bombs it to absolutely no one and goes out of bounds on the full. That was a wasted opportunity by Raven Marika.
Stevens plays on quickly for Waratah. Now in the left back pocket. Little kick forward. Ugly bounce, but he's got time to pick it up, Simpson. He goes and up and under, finds Collis. Collis runs around Berry, who's the ruckman for Palmerston, who is on the mark. He drills it forward and he finds an unmarked player at the top of the 50, whirls around, no one's in the goal square, and that is just gone to the left. And that was an opportunity there.
Justin Bugler.
Bugler,
Yep.
he has the distance, can kick it easy off two steps, can't he?
Murden takes the mark, still in the defensive 50 for the Magpies, asked to play on. Kicks it back. It's a poor kick, but Sandy Brock takes the mark. So they're back at the starting line. Good kick, finds Hutchinson, but still in the defensive 50 after 3 kicks here, the Magpies. Kicks it up the line. Holtz Tubbs made a good lead, but goes without it. Probably misread it in the end. He looks a little bit sore and sorry. He spent a lot of time on the bench during the third quarter, so I reckon maybe his knee, because he couldn't really jump to that, get any elevation. So boundary thrown right in front of our commentary box again.
And is balled up directly in front of the Palmerston dugout in front. It was a shallow ball that came through. Wilkins got it, and Wilkins now has to do the tackling. He brought down Johnson, who got a hand pass away quickly. Hurried kick down the commentary wing, and it is picked up by Waratah Stevens. He puts it into the middle, can't find Rakawasa. Shadforth for Palmerston picks it up in the middle, puts it out to the left, and a great running back mark from Nichols. And coming around, he's going to go to the top of the square, and there is no one home for Palmerston. Absolutely no one. So now Waratahs have all the numbers. Booth picked it up at the goal square. He's kicked it out to the outside wing to Rakawasa, who has no one in about 10 metres of him, takes a second bounce, decides to come into the middle of the park, and that just falls into the lap of Carroll. So Waratah now with all the run. No one picked out a man over on the left, and it's been chopped back into the middle and finds an unmarked Gorman. So 5 passages of play there, and Palmerston not able to keep up with the play.
Gee, Palmerston needed to hang on to the footy. Dane Nichols, I know that there was no one there. He needed to steady there, actually come back and just maintain possession of the footy. Instead, we're now at the other end with Gorman having a shot.
So Gorman, slight angle, 30 metres out, and he has kicked it. He likes it. Players come in because that is his second for the afternoon, but more importantly, that is Waratah's 3rd goal, and Palmerston have yet to register in this final term.
They are yet to register. They're yet to register even a behind in this last quarter. They've been blown away in the early stages here. If they're going to respond, they need to do it quickly. You see Brodie Carroll, yet again, that man on the spot where the ball just seems to land in his arms. Good use of the footy by Dylan Collison, and we've seen that on more than one occasion this afternoon. He's been very good. But Brodie Carroll, well done. Who delivered the ball to him? Rakawasa just keeps running off halfback and doing what he does. I don't like his haircut, but his footy has been sensational.
I think it's a new mullet for those that don't know. Clean shaved on the side.
Oh, he looks fantastic.
So back in the middle, Brock against Wilkins. Wilkins won the advantage there. Doesn't get far. Wilkins is in there again. Picked up by the Waratahs playing Shaper. Kicks it into the 50. Bounces first. Number of players just jostling for the footy. Umpire says play on, kicked off the ground by Murden. Murden gives it to Davey Senior, runs into each other, but Raven Marika drops the mark. He had too much time and space, then delivers it to Aaron Lonergan. So in the centre square, still a long way from goals here, the Magpies. He kicks it forward to the big ruckman. Where's the little forwards? Nichols runs onto it now. Got no players running past. The umpire says, give it to me. Just no little forwards at the feet of the big ruckman there to try and take the advantage off the pack. So a ball up in the 50 for the Palmerston Magpies. Berry will go out against Wilkins, just pushes the smaller opponent out the way, but Waratahs are going to clear the defensive 50 here.
Down the commentary wing, the defensive side of the commentary wing falls into the lap of Graham. He slips over, gets up, kicks it long down the commentary wing, over the head, and he was looking for a free kick. Might have had a case.
I think he had a case.
He's got a chop to the head, but that's been missed by everyone, and he gets up, doesn't remonstrate too much, but...
That's what happens when you camp in the shade, see, because it's a shade. The umpire couldn't quite see him in the shade there, Bugler.
He hasn't ventured from the shade too much today, has he?
I don't blame him.
Don't blame him. Ball tossed in. in the favour of Wilkins. Wilkins just dropped it down on the ground. Simpson trying to pick it up for Waratah. Emery harassing Wilkins there. Oh, tackled without the ball. That's been missed. No, it's a late free kick. He was definitely tackled without the ball. Shadforth.
The umpire that was furthest away.
That was a team free kick with that one. All of Palmerston appealed for it, and the umpire the furthest away gave it.
Even us. So Shadforth now looking for players to come forward. He just decides to go long, and a bad option because Aruccio, the ruckman for Waratahs, was the tallest man there, and he was able to take an easy mark.
So Aruccio just holds up the footy here. Kicks it long. Carroll at the back.
Oh, Marika. What a grab.
Offhand, though, he's called the mark. Carroll thought he got first touch to it. I thought it was probably play on. I reckon they both had equal hands to that footy. So over the top to Aruccio. He just kicks it up and under and says, here, take that one. Murden in front, gets a fist to it. Waratah's running past Blake, who's just had a brilliant last quarter. Quickly on the boot, it just stays in and then goes out. Perfect kick. If you're a Waratahs player, it just goes over the boundary line. In rugby union, that would have been a perfect kick. But Blake's just started this last quarter really well.
Daniel Murden just coming from the ground for the Palmerston Magpies. Just took a really heavy knock on his right forearm here. So let's hope that he's okay. In fact, it might be his right shoulder. He's obviously had troubles with that before.
Keep an eye on that because they're already down with Freeman ruled out from concussion, so they're down a rotation. Murden's come off second best. Keranua nearly cleaned up by Holt Tubbs. It's now in the middle for Waratah, looking to go inside their forward 50 by Gooch. Just picks out in a beautiful weighted pass to Graham, who takes a chest mark 40 metres out directly in front, and that was a great bit of passage of play, and Gooch just looks so poised out there when he's got the ball, doesn't he?
And the foot skills of Waratah have just been so far above Palmerston, perhaps except for the third quarter. They've just used the ball so much better. This is another example inside 50.
Now looking for their fourth consecutive goal. Graham just hits it from the 40 metres, and he has picked up their fourth straight goal in the final term. Couple of players get around from him, but they're trying to conserve their energy late in the match. It's a very warm afternoon. I'd just be calling out the name, wouldn't you, and just be giving a thumbs up by now.
Good on you, mate. Yeah. Well done. Sandy Brock winning the ruck contest there. Caden Holt-Tubbs going for the man instead of attacking the footy there. And as soon as Waratah got a hold of it, you see players in space. Good use of the ball by Nicholas Gooch, as he so often does. And Michael Graham, who we haven't seen that often, getting on the end of that one and then kicking truly. So well done again to Waratah, just using the ball so well by foot, and their work ethic. I don't know how many times I've said it, but their work ethic, they're finding themselves in space yet again.
No, free kick.
A free kick here.
Yep, Magpies just didn't have it sorted there, so it should go the way of Waratahs. Yep, they've already had their warning. So young Burnett needed to get back into the defensive 50. So Waratahs through the middle here, and Carroll with a beautiful kick towards Bugler. That was a perfect kick straight on the chest of Bugler, who led 40 metres from goal, so he's going to have to kick it from about 55. He took the mark right on the paint of 50.
Natasha, I don't think we saw Bugler in the first quarter, but since we sort of asked the question, where is Justin Bugler, he has been very prominent for Tars this afternoon.
And they already has 2 goals, both in the second quarter. So he comes in, slow approach with a stutter, boots it, it's an up and under kick, it's going to fall short, it's going to fall in the goal square. At the back was the big ruckman, Aruccio, but couldn't take it. Kicked off the ground by Philo. And towards the boundary, Russell Davey puts the body on Mincook, and it goes out of bounds for a boundary throw in, 55 around from the Waratahs goal. 14, nearly 15 minutes gone. Waratahs 15-8-98, still leading Palmerston 9-7-61.
Oh, Bugler, lovely long kick of the footy. He put it right to the goal square there. Palmerston very fortunate they were able to rush it out.
Aruccio in front. Waratah is able to get 2 fists to it, but only down as far as Philo. And Palmerston forward now, going into the lap of Berry, who's pushed over the side by Rakawasa. Berry's moved up to the forward line.
Pushing the back by any chance, Shannon?
Well, I wouldn't say that was already late.
They haven't called it,
That's
have
pretty
they?
bad. And he was clearly in front. He didn't need to be shoved like that. So you're right, it was a 2-handed push.
So Shadford's gone missing in this quarter, and Cole Emery spent a lot of time on the bench.
So ball tossed up directly in front of Waratah's bench. One down by a Ratio, but kicked off the ground for Palmerston. It was first to the ball, Kim Cantilla. He's just booted it down. Now the pace of Kerenua might get there, but Alwyn Davies Sr.'s back boot has just spoiled that party. Overrun from the end by Mishai Perry Jr. So Waratah now with the chance through Kerenua. Oh, and a great brave running back mark. And that was Burnett. Not sure it was 15 metres, but Burnett's gone over to Timms. And Timms has picked it up from the right back pocket. It's gone over the head of Alwyn Davies Jr., right underneath the scoreboard. And it's going to come back into the middle of the park for Waratah. Now, at centre half forward, the ball delivered. Picked up nicely and off the ground. Running through was Kim Cantilla. Got a great handball, and he should have scored a goal that he normally would just snap up, and it's just gone to the left of the post.
They're in disarray with their rotations here, the Palmerston Magpies. I think being a rotation down has put them out.
Good to see though Murden's trying to get back on.
Yeah, Hutchinson gets it back. Emery's on as well. Shadforth gives it to Emery. It was a poor hand pass, but picked up by Gay Kamungu. Kicks it into the centre square, nearly chopped off by the Waratahs player. Good control by Zobel. Zobel back, kicks it to the 50. Cantilla went without it. Shaper had it, kicked it to the top of the square, and Justin Bugler is all by himself and kicks the easiest goal of the game. So no pressure on him whatsoever, and he has 3 for the game, Justin Bugler. Waratah's scream ahead, 16-9, 105 to Palmerston 9-7, 61. Nearly 17 and a half minutes gone in this last quarter.
Oh, just another example there for Tars. Their work ethic for 3 out of the 4 quarters of this game has just been excellent. So far above Palmerston's, and just the numbers that moved forward there. Once the turnover occurred, off they went running forward. They had players screaming for the footy and had about 4 or 5 in the clear inside 50. They went to the furthest one in Bugler, who just toe-poked it over the line for another goal. This game is done and dusted for Waratah.
Palmerston yet to get a point, and Waratah bring up their 100. Now in the ruck was Gakamungur. He was up against Wilkins, so the height really easily out for Waratah. 2 touches of the ball and delivered straight down the throat of Bugler, who's now going to go back. He's got the distance, slight angle to the right. Puts the ball down, just wipes his hand from sweat. He's going to attempt to get his 4th goal, 2nd goal of the quarter if he can. Bugler for Waratah. Slight breeze at his back, just comes over the paint of 50, trots in, gets the distance, and he's hooked it to the left, and it will go through for a behind. But it doesn't say much about Palmerston, does it, with Gakamungu in the ruck? And that was a very big mismatch against Wilkins.
This is with the disarray with the rotations. The rotations have gone right out now. So Holt Tubbs, hand passes to Philo. Philo to Shadford. He's been quiet in this last quarter, under enormous pressure, and kicks it out of bounds on the full. So as he's being tackled. So free kick going to Collis. He's played a good game.
Yeah, he sure has. You can just see the wheels falling off here, can't you? Palmerston know that they're done here. There's not enough time.
So he kicks it down, and Sandy Brock gets in the way of Smith and belts it over the boundary line. So a boundary throw in, about 55 around from the Waratah's goal, grandstand side.
Sandy Brock, I've been impressed with him this afternoon. He's played forward, he's played in the ruck, he's played fullback, and he's played to his utmost here this afternoon. Really played strongly.
His sister's as good as him as well. She plays everywhere. The ruck, back line, forward line for us.
Hutchinson gets it on the boot hurriedly for Palmerston, gets it down to Alwyn Davies Sr. Looked like to have run out of the field of play. It's play on. He kicked it hurriedly forward, and just falling over was Johnson. He's now down on the ground cramping. Very tough afternoon for both players out there. Waratah have it through Collis. He goes booming, kick down, looking for Kim Cantilla. Oh. He turns around, plays on directly in front, 20 metres out. He did not even break stride when he took that mark over his head. He was just
like a dancing
on his feet, turned around, and he has booted his 2nd for the afternoon. But more importantly for Waratah, that is now their 5th goal in the final quarter, and Magpies still yet to score.
Well, There it is, just too easy yet again. Once the turnover occurred, the long kick, look at this dancing backwards. He just flips around beautifully. Well done to Shadforth there for continuing on the chase. That's really impressive, knowing that he more than likely wasn't going to get there. But just beautiful play there by Waratah. Using the ball really well. Players in the clear.
Got
Just
a free kick.
Everything that summed up their play. Here we are, balls on the ground.
So I think it's going the way of the Palmerston Magpies
So that's
this
their
time.
first
No, that's
Waratah
their
warning?
warning.
That's their first warning.
Yep. So I think Carroll was out.
Brody Carroll's been in trouble a few times this year, hasn't he?
The back in the middle, Wilkins against Berry. Berry's tried hard all day. Here's that man, Collis, just with time and space. Started his feet. Geez, that's leg breakers, they are.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
So Wilkins is hobbling off the ruckman. So Shaper has the footy for Waratahs in the centre square. Shapes to kick it long, and he does that. Looking for Bugler. Why wouldn't you? He's been a good target up there at the back. Taken off the pack is Gorman. And Gorman goes across at the face of goal for Waratahs register, another behind.
They've been dominant, haven't they? Just look at the scoring shots. Palmerston 9-7, Waratah 17-11, so 16-28. And that margin really starting to blow out now. What can Palmerston salvage from the last 5 minutes or so of this game?
Kick out straight down the middle and straight to Perry Jr. He goes for a bounce straight down. He's running all the way down, kicks it forward over the head, and that now a lot of players. Johnson went over his head and he's suffering from cramp. So now Waratah bring it out easily and out on the outer wing. Gorman. Another man sporting a mullet at the moment for Waratah. Takes a bounce, wobbly, ugly kick into the left forward pocket, and that's going to beat Bugler easily over the boundary. Wasn't a great entry in the end, but there'll be a ball tossed back in about 20 metres around from the left post in the left forward pocket for Waratah.
So boundary throw in. Here at the back was Smith, unlikely ruckman. Full forward for Waratahs, kicked in the back of the pack. Bugler's underneath it, reads it best, and he does. Just uses his body. Just lost sight of the ball, did Sandy Brock. Tried hard all game, but Bugler just used his body well to protect the ball drop and takes the mark directly, well, just a slight angle, but 10 metres out from goal. Should go back and kick his fourth of the game. Don't want to give him the commentator's curse, but should kick this one. And he doesn't.
Oh, gee.
So sorry, Justin, but yeah, that's the commentator's curse for you. Probably he rushed himself there, but Waratah's another behind. So 17-12, 114, Palmerston 9-7-61. We're nearly at the end of this last quarter.
Oh, the Magpies would appreciate your efforts this afternoon, Natasha.
So ball kicked back into a pack of players. Beautiful mark from Gooch. Gooch then comes forward, drops it just a little short for Karanua. Karanua gets a handball out, finds Graham. Graham picked up, dropped the ball he should have taken, still not out of danger, snapped around the corner from Gorman, and that was the end result, a goal, but it was a fumbling ball from Graham, and desperation still there from Palmerston, but not able to get it outside of their defensive 50. Waratah 18-12, 120 to Palmerston 9-7-61.
I thought this was holding the ball.
Yeah, I love the trap by Henry Karanua there, but
he missed his foot.
Is that's either dropping the ball or it's a trip? You know.
Yep, that's definitely dropping the ball.
Which one? Nonetheless, goal on the board.
Three goals in the last quarter.
3 goals in the last quarter. William Gorman has been absolutely dominant, but Henry Karanua, just that touch on the footy. The kick from Gooch wasn't perfect. Was able to stop the footy, pick it up cleanly, give off the handball. Just great setup from Henry Karanua.
Not long to go in this last quarter. So Smith's in the ruck against Berry. They've told him to go in there. Wilkins come off with an injury. Magpies go forward. Philo puts on the tackle. Gaykamangu kicks it forward. Nichols puts it to the top of oh no, good vision. I thought he blazed away then, but he's seen young Davey Jr. So Owen Davey Jr. can finish off with a goal for himself.
Hasn't Dane Nichols had a great second half? I mean, he's really tried hard. Second quarter, third quarter in particular, and now still using the footy well. He's taken a couple of hard hits
He has. So we're behind Davey Jr. here. Kick it from about 30. Slight angle. Looks good off the boot as the siren goes to end the game. Palmerston kicked their 10th goal of the game, but unfortunately didn't get the win here today.
So one goal right at the end, Shannon, what they've managed to kick. And in comparison, Palmerston Waratah turned it around and kicked 7 goals. So 7-2 Palmerston's way in the third quarter, 7-1 Waratah's way in the last quarter.
We're here for when the heavens open and the winds howl. We're here for when the water just won't stop. We're here for the wet and we're here for the dry. We're here because we know there's nowhere else you'd rather be.
And there's nowhere else we'd rather be either. TIO Home Insurance. We're for Territorians.
So we can feel, really feel, together, real, together. No one can stop. No one can stop. Nothing can ever bring me down.
Mother Nature can be frighteningly predictable in the Territory this time of year. Heavy rains and damaging winds can cause